thought I would come on tonight and record a short video. And I was thinking the best is yet to come, is what I had written it down. And I'm going to tell you why. The best is yet to come. And this is primarily for single parents, especially single moms who may be feeling, or any parent actually, it's not just about a single mom, but any parent who may be feeling like they're struggling right now and it's just really, really tough. And it's like a day to day battle just to get through and make it through. Maybe you feel like you barely have what you need and you're just trying to keep your sanity. I get it. I get it. But the best is yet to come. And here's why I just wanted to just share my thoughts about this. Because I remember when I was like at my lowest point and I was very, very depressed and just in a pit. I really was. And I had never really broken down in front of my son with like tears and crying and whatnot, but he had definitely felt what I was feeling because I wasn't like a kind person to him in situations where I should have been. And I just, I wasn't parenting to the best of my ability, and I just wasn't in a good place for myself, and I wasn't in a good place for him. And so he didn't see my emotions and my tears that I was crying when I was just like going through it. He didn't see that, but he felt it with how I did or did not show up for him. And through various experiences, children are very, very, they have this keen awareness of what's going on, even though they may not verbalize it or say it, or they may act it out in different ways, but they have an awareness of what's going on, even if we feel like they don't. They see everything. They're like sponges. Even this, they soak up the emotions of the environment and what's going on with the parents. And so, although I tried to like hide my depression and keep it under wraps, he still felt some of the side effects from that. And here's the thing. I my son has some challenges, and I don't want to put a label on him and say he has this disorder or this disorder, but um a lot of children right now and even adults are being diagnosed with ADHD and autism and certain disorders. And I don't really want to label him as that per se, because I just want to really kind of be careful with that. But parenting him has been a challenge for me. Aside from my own personal issues and things like that, just dealing with him has been a challenge. It really has. And so, and I'm talking about challenges from when he's 7 now, but when he was even smaller, getting the calls every other day from daycare and the tantrums. And I mean, he used to get suspended from daycare. That's just how serious it was. And there were so many behavioral things going on. So not only was I dealing with my own internal turmoil, but I was also heavily stressed from having to deal with him and not knowing how to manage that and balance that out. I was heavily stressed out. And so I understand what it is, the heavy weight it is to have to parent, especially if you have more than one. And even if you have the one, that one can feel like three or four. So I definitely can understand and sympathize with all the parents out there, whether you're a single parent or not, because parenting is the hardest job in the world. It really is. And it's a sacrificial job that we often don't get acknowledgement for. And Um, our kids don't come to appreciate a lot of the things we've done for them until they get older sometimes, a lot of times. So it's definitely a challenge. So I totally understand. Um, but here's the thing, the best is yet to come. I don't want to get too far off and make this video longer than what it needs to be. So when I was at my lowest point, I remember it was this one day, just it felt like any other regular day. I was picking my son up from his after school program, and he got in the car and he gave me this card right here. You see it? It says the best is yet to come, right? And then in the inside it says you've got this. And the way he handed it to me, and I cried. I cried so hard when he gave me this, because he was just like, "Mom, I have something for you." And he gave me this card, and it was like, at that moment I felt like, what a gift. I'm gonna try not to cry, but I felt like, what a gift this child is to me. And he's like a little angel that God has given me. And even though days there are really, really challenging, it's still, what a precious gift that God has given me, and God has given us with our children. They really are a gift. And there are many days we don't see it like that because we're going through the struggle, right? But they really are. And I asked him, I said, who gave you this? And I don't know if it was a teacher or somebody, but the fact that somebody, a teacher, somebody gave this to him, and he felt the need to hang on to it, because mind you, he's very forgetful, he'll lose things, but he held on to it. And then as soon as he got in the car, he passed it along to me. I'm just like, God, thank you for this kid. Thank you for this kid. And thank you for just moving through this kid to help me. And my son doesn't even realize how much of a help he was to me. And it is to me currently. He really is. And I'm explain more about that in a second. But yeah, so and the reason why I wanted to kind of touch on the single mom parenting thing is because um I was having a discussion with my sister earlier, but one of the things that I was, one of the scriptures that was brought up earlier was about how God really uh, defends the fatherless, and he really fills in the gap. And so I'll read here just a quick scripture. It says, "Do not take advantage of the widow or fatherless. If you do and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry, and my anger will be aroused." So if you're a single mother, and this is for single moms, what I'm saying here, because oftentimes as single mothers, we have often been fatherless ourselves. And so it wasn't until I was at my lowest point, where I had reached my rock bottom, to where I met God. And I actually was crying in my desperation. So he heard me. He heard me. And he made it to where he started moving things in place to help me out of my pit. So, and the thing is that when you're in desperation and you're just so stressed out and you're at your wit's end and you just feel like, I don't even know how I'm going to make it another day. When you're crying in desperation and you really are asking God for help, and you just don't understand how you're going to get through whatever you're trying to make it through, I'm telling you, I thought that my tears were just soaking up my pillowcases at night, and my eyes were swollen the next day just for no reason. And I just thought, like, what is the point? Like, what is the point? And I used to feel like having my son was like the one of the worst things I had ever done for my life, to be honest. And now that I'm on the other side of that, I can understand that he was such a gift to me. And he is such a gift to me. He is still, because our children are often our best teachers. They're often our best teachers. And before I get into that, I did not grow up with a present father. And so God was coming into my life to help me and to be there for me and to parent me and father me and love me and support me. And by him doing that for me, he was able to work through me in order to help my son and to be a better mother for him. So do you see what I'm saying? And I'm a single mom. So now my son is fatherless. I don't have a present. His father is not present in the home. And so God is able, and that's the thing. I thought my tears were just for nothing, but they were not, because God was and is working through me to help strengthen me and to help me and provide for me, even in ways I didn't even recognize. But he's doing that. But those blessings are not just for me, they're also to help my son. And so God will make a way so that he will strengthen you to help you to be able to be strong for your children, and to give you the things that you need in order to help your children. So your blessings are not just for you, they're for your child as well, or children. I'm gonna try to explain this the way I wrote it down, because it just, the revelation just like hit me hard. But our children are often our best teachers. And here's another like recent example that happened 2 days ago. I just got my son these football gloves, and he wanted to go outside and play football and toss the football around. Now, in my apartment complex, I don't really have that many children that are like his age that are boys. So typically it's me and him outside tossing the ball around, and that's it. There's not like, the kids that come out are really girls and whatever, but it's never the right timing. So literally he doesn't have a friend group where we live. But it was one of those days, one of those busy days. I picked him up from after school program in kind of the late afternoon. So for me as a mom, I'm ready to come home, get dinner started, get showers, and get ready for bed, and all this. I'm ready to get on the ball, right? As we usually do as parents. However, this night he said, "Mom, is it okay if I go outside and toss the football around?" And I said, "Okay, sure, go ahead." And I was already starting dinner at that point when he headed outside. And as I was cooking dinner, I felt this pull, like this strong pull. I said, "Nina, go outside with your kid. Like, go outside with him." Because it's this feeling that comes over you when you just, you can't really go your own way and do what you want to do in terms of keeping on schedule with something. It's more about being there for your children and doing what you can do for them. And the pool was just, I said, I don't want him to be alone out there. I was thinking it as I was at the stove. I was thinking it to myself, like, I don't want him to be alone out there playing with the ball. It just wasn't sitting right with me. So I turned off the stove, and I had crept out, like kind of at the front door of the building, just to peek out at him. And he saw me, and I didn't have on my shoes yet to go all the way out. But I just looked at him and I said, I'm going to go outside and play with him because I don't want him to be alone. I had said it again to myself. And literally, as I opened the door and was going to say to him, I'm coming out, he said, Mom, can you come out with me? I'm lonely. I mean, I almost cried. I almost cried because I literally had the pull and was saying it to myself over the stove. I would say it to myself when I had reached the door to peek out at him. And then literally, as I opened the door, he said those words to me. He said, Mom, can you come out and play with me? I'm lonely. And it just, it broke my heart, but really I already knew he was feeling that way. And so here's the thing, it's like children are our best teachers. They teach us how to have compassion and empathy. They teach us kindness. They teach us to be the change. Like, you know, that quote, I think it was Gandhi that said it, be the change you want to see in the world. Our children actually teach us how to do that, because the old Nina, the depressed Nina, the Nina who had so much regret and anxiety from even having a child, the old me would have been so caught up in just trying to get dinner ready and get to bed on time and all this other stuff. And I was missing the moment to step into kindness, to step into compassion, to step into a lesson that I need to learn from my own character and my own growth and development, in terms of learning how to feel other people and their emotions, and really forgetting about myself. And I know as parents we feel like we already do that and sacrifice so much for our children, but we're also a human being outside of just being a parent. So it's also about what are we contributing and how are we showing up in the world for other people besides just our family as well. And so he's really just he's taught me how to not be so rigid in terms of trying to keep to a schedule so much, and worry more about the time and getting to bed right on time and certain things, and to just be a little bit more flexible. And in fact, he actually told me that one day, but that's for another video. But just to be more flexible in terms of my awareness and his needs, because he's teaching me so much. He's teaching me so much. And sometimes you may feel like you're overwhelmed as a parent and there's like so much to do in a day, right? But our children are there to teach us something. So if you have a child that's really difficult in raising, whether it be like behavioral things, ADHD, autism, whatever it is, disability in some way, maybe those lessons is sort of reaching out to teach you about really unconditional love and compassion and empathy, and those really those emotions we sort of can become numb to as adults when we're just trying to get things done and we're busy. So, you know, it's the things that we ask for in life, like, oh, I want I want to have a closer family. Like, I want my family to be closer. Then sometimes God won't just answer that in a way of somebody in the family coordinating dinners every Sunday to come together. It won't happen like that. Sometimes it's a tragedy in the family that'll happen, and then it'll bring everybody together, and then it continues on. So sometimes the way we think something should go as far as our prayers being answered, it doesn't happen the way we feel it should have been answered. And so although when I embarked on my whole healing journey and wanted, and I was asking God, like, can you make me a better mom? Like, that was one of the things I had asked for. Like, God, can you please help make me a better parent and a better mom to my son? I had asked for that. Then as he began to change me and I began to develop those empathy and compassion characteristics within myself, and really extend that out to my son, then my prayers began to change, and I began to pray for other moms, like, because it's about us helping other people. And he's not just my father, it's our father. It's our Father in heaven. So when I was crying, and I thought I was just like in my desperation crying for myself, it's also he's hearing my cries as a depressed single fatherless mom. He's hearing my cries. He's bringing support and love to me and working through me to help my son. And now I'm also developing that fruit, if you want to say that fruit, to be able to pray now for other people and other moms and other people who are just feeling downcast and oppressed and things like that. So, yeah, like if you're struggling right now as a parent, just please know the best is yet to come. I just would encourage you to just please pray. Like maybe you've never prayed, but just try it. I would encourage that because it's really changed my life. And again, I wasn't a believer a few years ago, I wasn't. So but it's really changed my life, and the change doesn't happen overnight, but I can honestly just count the many ways that God has shown up for me during this time as I've been asking for clarity, asking for provision. Um, and then at a certain point, my prayers don't even, I'm not asking for, God, can you help me pay this bill? Or God, can you help me? My prayers are not even that. It's like, God, thank you for allowing me to help so and so. God, thank you for allowing me to be able to do this or go here. And it's like, or to do this for this person. So my prayers begin to change. They become less self-focused and more about, I'm grateful for what how he's helped strengthen me and help and provided for me. And now I'm able to think about all the other moms and parents out there who are struggling, because I've been there. I know what that's like. And it's a continuous daily thing. So the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. My son gave me this card when I was in a pit of depression, and he didn't even realize that he was being such a blessing to me. So our children are gifts from God and a blessing. They're like these little angels God sent us. And I know it might be hard, but on the inside it says you got this. So you do. And I just wanted to share that because my blessings are not just for me. And so I just want to come on camera and start sharing because I'm grateful. So yes. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you.